Hello viewers of Biotechnica, this is Caroline Green. Today's video is going to be about making effective habits for NEET exam success. Yes, NEET examination is considered tougher, but this is more tough to follow certain habits. So today in this video, if you wanted to be successful in your NEET examination, I'm going to talk about effective habits that you need to have when you are in the NEET preparation. So I'm going to talk about some of the important habits that you need to have at the time of your NEET preparation. So first, let's talk about what's the best habit that you need to have. Yes, when you start your preparation, you definitely go in for making a daily routine for all of you. Yes, so make sure you do certain things when you're making your daily routine. So I'm going to tell you all the do's while making your daily routine for NEET examination. The first thing when you do is making a study plan or a daily routine. So I'm going to talk about consider your school timing while making your daily schedule. Yes, suppose if you're going to school and you're preparing, if you're in 11th grade or your 12th grade and if you are simultaneously going to prepare for 12th examination, please do consider your school timing along with your NEET preparation, because you might be in your school for so long. After that, you have a little bit of time. So accordingly, you make your daily timetable. Suppose if you are a repeater who has dropped out and then planning to pursue completely for 1 year, you might be going to a center and you would be studying. So accordingly, you make a timetable for it. So always plan according to the time that is for you remaining for self-study, not for the classes that you go for. That's very important. And make a timetable or a study plan or a daily routine which is realistic, which shouldn't be like you can do it all the units, like let's suppose take some 5 units in one day. That's not going to be possible. So make a realistic timetable or realistic daily routine for all of you. And the most important thing is, do not stick to the waking up early routine if that doesn't work out for you. There are some students, what they'll do is, okay, let me wake up by 4 o'clock and study accordingly till 7 o'clock. Suppose if you are not person who is not or who cannot able to wake up at the 4 o'clock timing, then you do not have to do that. Don't stick on to that time because it's going to ruin your plan. So make a timetable that is best benefited for you. Suppose if you're a person who can study even after some 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock or 1:30, then you plan accordingly to that time and you can be like that. Or you can be a night owl or you can be an early one, whatever it is. So plan it according to whichever is comfortable for you. And make separate schedules for your weekends and holidays. Yes, of course, when you're in the preparation, it doesn't mean like you should not enjoy at all. You have to definitely. So you need to have your weekends planned and your holidays planned. Suppose if you want to go for a vacation, you can plan accordingly. And your weekends shouldn't be like both Saturday and Sunday you have to spend. You can spend some 2 to 3 hours for your weekend going out and then coming. So make a timetable according to for your weekends as well as for your holidays. So this is the most important habit that you need to have while making a timetable. So many of them usually makes a daily routine or a scheduled timetable. But the problem is you do not know what to put in the timetable. You randomly write all the units in the hours and you just finish off your timetable. But make sure you include all these things which becomes your habit also. Now let's talk about the second one, study for short durations. Yes, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to study 24/7. It's not possible. And you don't have to study 10 hours or 12 hours. It is also not possible because your brain works, or you can literally listen to certain things almost 30 to 45 minutes only. Even if you prolong it for so long, it becomes very, very tedious for you. So study for short duration. When you talk with the toppers of NEET examination, they always used to say, like, I studied for this much of duration. The main purpose of studying it is concentrating, even if it is for less duration of time. If you're sitting simply and studying it for 10 hours and 12 hours without concentration, it's worthless. Instead, sit and study for at least 6 to 7 hours properly or 4 to 5 hours properly, whatever is applicable for you. So study for short hours and do not pile up things. This I'm going to tell you very, very importantly. This should become your habit because NEET is tougher. But making this habit to become is very, very difficult. It is like a practice you will be taking up and then it becomes your habit. And do not pile up things and study every topic taught on the same day. This I would always suggest. If a topic from one unit or from one chapter is taught either in physics or chemistry or for biology, study it on the same day. And do not pile up that you'll be studying in the week. Like you'll be studying at the weekend, like Saturday I'll be covering the entire portion. That's not going to be possible. So do not pile up things. Study every topic that is taught on the same day. This should become a definite habit when you're going in for NEET preparation. And one topic for one subject at a time will make it more productive. It is applicable for some of the students. Suppose if you feel like you will spend 1 hour for biology, 1 hour for physics, or 2 hours for chemistry, whatever is your plan, you can make it productive. But if you feel like I cannot handle 3 subjects together on the same day, in the evenings, then you can take up one topic, one subject, one time. You can study it thoroughly, and the next day you can take up the topic. In the weekends, you can revise biology, physics, and chemistry together. So whichever is comfortable for you, you can take it up. And the most important thing I'm going to tell you is consistency matters than anything that you're going to do. You have your timetable, you have planned very beautifully according to all your weekends, your holidays, your school time, everything. But if you're not going to be consistent enough to study every unit or every chapter or every subject properly, it will not work out at all. And decide your hours of study. It's not necessary I'm going to tell you have to study 10 hours or 11 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours. It depends on each person, so I'm not going to give you. So minimally you can spend some 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours you can spend. Suppose if you feel like I need a little more time for it, then you can take up more time also. It's up to all the students who are going to do it. It may vary according to each of their people. Okay, thoroughly study NCERT to crack NEET examination, because according to the previous year question paper analysis, you will find people who have studied NCERT book have always scored more than the other people who have ignored NCERT book. So definitely this is going to be the fundamental for your NEET examination. All the concept which is given there, an explanation that is given there, examples, the exercises, diagrams in biology, summary phases and prefaces, these are all very, very important, because majority of your questions are from your NCERT only. So it's really a bad idea if you're gonna ignore your NCERT. So thoroughly study NCERT to crack NEET examination. This should definitely become a habit. I'm listing out in the habit section because this practice will definitely should become a habit. Because if you take your NCERT book, the next day you start taking your NCERT book unconsciously or subconsciously, you used to be taking it. Spend more times on practice than reading. This is a most important habit that you need to have, because I found a lot of students keep on reading for 6 months, 7 months, but they never used to practice question. That's the biggest problem, because as you practice, you learn more and you're going to approach the question very, very easily. This is the best way to do it. So make this as a habit. Spend more time on practice rather than reading a lot of things. Of course, you need to read your NCERT book, but you cannot read the book again and again, like 20 times or 30 times. So what you have to do, learn the concept by listening to the classes or watching a video. And after that, take your NCERT book and read every line in it, understand it, and then take your NCERT fingertips and start solving all the questions. And then take your PYQ and your mock test and start solving question. So after you start solving question, you need to keep solving question. Practice mock test and pre-YQs, and 60 to 70% of your time you should always practice. So most of the toppers, if you looking for, they used to study the concept very, very faster, or they used to read the concept a bit faster, and they used to practice so many questions. Almost they spend 60 to 70% of their time in practicing question. More questions you're going to solve, the higher chances you stand to score higher. That's the most important thing. Even though if you study and if you're going to sit for the examination at the last moment, you would not how to manage time, how you can solve question, it would be a problem. Whenever you go for a complete annual examination, you would know in schools, right? Definitely you would be having a midterm, you will be going for half-yearly, quarterly examination. That makes you practice for the final examination. That's how board exam also works. You used to go for many examination, then you go for. The same way for NEET, if you're not going to write test or solve previous year question paper, and suddenly if you go and sit for the NEET examination, it becomes very, very difficult for you. So always practice more than reading. Spend a lot of time on practicing a lot of questions, very specifically when it comes to physics and chemistry. And the most important thing I'm going to tell you, you should make it as a habit, is stick to your study plan. Yes, you have already made a study plan, but sticking to your study plan is very, very important. Yes, I found a lot of students making a timetable and say, yes, I'm going to finish human physiology within 2 weeks. But the problem is, after if you go and ask the students and ask, did you finish your human physiology within 2 weeks? They would say, no, I haven't finished. What's the problem over there is you are not sticking to your study plan. Suppose if you're a student, if you have planned accordingly, every day try to finish the work or the task that is assigned on the same day itself. If you're not going to able to finish it, just try to finish it at least in the weekend by Saturday or Sunday, and do not pile up work. So stick very much into your study plan. So execute the study plan, very important. And I'm going to give you a trick for you. So first thing what you have to do is, if you are someone who going to ask me, I'm not able to stick on to my study timetable, I deviate a lot of time. I'm going to tell you, 21 days you have to continuously try to finish the task on the same day. It becomes your habit after 21 days. Yes, when you can just imagine, if you're going to wake up every day by 5:30 and almost for like 2 weeks, then automatically by 5:30 you start waking up. So that becomes your habit. So try to continuously stick on to your timetable and finish it at least for 21 days. Later you will have a thought to finish it normally. And most of the toppers, if you hear it from them, they used to solve 100 to 200 questions every day, either from physics, chemistry, or from biology. Totally they used to solve 100 to 200 questions. So try to do that, which should become a habit for you. And seek to understand than to memorize. Yes, a lot of students, when it comes to biology very specifically, they used to memorize things. Yes, there are certain concepts that you have to memorize, but there are certain concepts you have to understand more than memorizing. So learn every concept, understand every concept, then only you can apply in the form of a question. If you're going to memorize it, it would be very, very difficult for you. The best way to understand any concept is using some techniques like mind maps, concept maps, stick notes, personalized notes, concise version of your notes, or flow charts, or anything like that, which makes a difficult concept into an easy concept. Seek to understand rather than to memorize. That should definitely become your habit. And use learning tools revise. Yes, I'm going to tell you, this is a normal problem with all of them. It's natural, it's obvious. So a lot of students, when it comes to physics, chemistry, and biology, it's very difficult to revise. Yes, everybody would admit to this, because it's very difficult to revise by keep on reading the book. You won't have enough time to read the book again and again. So what you have to do is, you have to use some learning tool to revise it. The process of revision is of course going to be tough, and it's difficult to read the book again and again. But when it comes to biology, you have to read it again and again, because you have to solve a lot of questions. And identify weak topics by solving mock tests. When you're going to solve mock tests, I'm going to tell you what's your weakest area. So when you're going to solve, suppose let's take it, you're going to solve questions on plant kingdom, and you're not able to solve questions on plant kingdom in biological classification. You should understand that that's your weakest area. So through this question paper, you understood, yes, I'm weak enough in plant kingdom and biological classification, which means I have to learn this topic a bit more. So you need to identify weak topics by solving mock tests only. So many students used to ask me like, how can I know that this is my weakest part? Yes, the main thing is, when you're going to solve question, you'll get to understand how many questions you solve in each of the unit, and whichever you misses, that's going to be your weakest part. And when you're revising, always try to use some mnemonics, like easy way of understanding, some flashcards, visual aids, because we are visual learners, mind maps, some tables, compare and contrast tables to improve your memory retention and recall. You don't have to take a large paragraph and keep reading it. Sometimes it becomes difficult for you. So make some concise note for your revision. And the last and the most important one is, maintain health and have a good sleep. This is very, very important. Our brain function when you're going to have a very peaceful sleep. It doesn't mean like you have to sleep 24/7. You need to sleep for 6 to 7 hours. That's fine enough. You need to have a healthy meal also. So maintain health as well as maintain a good sleep also. So these are the habits that you definitely need to adapt in order to make your NEET journey successful. First, you need to do what are the things you have to put it in your study table, timetable, a routine for you, and study it for short duration but with concentration and with consistency, and thoroughly study your NCERT, make it a habit, and spend a lot of time on practice rather than reading it, and study to your stick on to your study plan and always understand rather than memorizing certain things, and use some learning techniques to revise, and always maintain a very good health as well as a good sleep also. So NEET is tough, but adapting to this habit is kind of very difficult. So make sure you make all these effective habits become a practice so that you can achieve very well enough in your NEET journey also. I believe that this video is helpful for all of you. Thank you all of you for joining. I'm going to meet you back again with another video. Thank you all of you.